Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Warcraft 3 replay cast, and today it is a 1 vs 1 on Echo Isles between our red Night Elf player, TeTe, and on the left side we have our blue human player, U2.Agatha, and of course gonna speed this on up to the 2-minute mark when all the heroes come out. And I'd just like to make a quick announcement that I'm almost at 500 subscribers. I'm at 499 as of making this. So if you guys really like these replays, go ahead and subscribe. I have a little red button down in the corner of the game, and I'd really appreciate that. But back to the replay. We will speed this up just a little bit more. And so soon. There we go. So soon. Alright, so for our Night Elf player, we have the Warden, which I really enjoy a Warden start. It's always very interesting play. Has that Ancient of War absorbing all of the damage for him, and the Archmage for the human player. We'll see what items drop for these players, see if they're useful, and how they will affect the rest of the game.
Your building is complete.
Majority of the creep camp is almost finished. The Ogre Magi will fall here. A Ring of Protection +2, a Ring of Selling +2, as it's generally considered a pretty bad item. And now that Renegade Wizard slowly but surely going down. And Parry of Vitality has dropped for our Warden. Very nice item indeed. And human player moving on back to base here. Looks like they're going to go after the Knoll Brute camps. And just pumping out footmen at the moment. And the Knoll Brute will drop a Manual of Health. Always a good item indeed. And Warden moving off towards the Goblin Merchant here, perhaps to buy some boots or just scout out across the map. We have a Wisp Scout now moving towards the expansion, and this is a very fast expansion for a human player. Speed building it with 5 peasants.
The enemy.
And here comes the Warden now, and going directly after some of these peasants, and gonna get some free kills here. Gonna leave that one alone because it will die from the poison. But it looks like the Archmage actually killed it to prevent the experience on that Warden. And now just torturing all of these peasants here. Gonna have to bring down even more to complete this now. And Warden taking quite a bit of damage here, and it's gonna Shadow Meld for the meantime. And we'll have to stick around there with the Water Elemental for when she comes out of stealth.
Your building is
and now the Archmage is going to be moving across the map. And there she goes, blinks on out of trouble, and that Arcane Tower finishes off the rest of her mana. And this peasant may die. I doubt it. Looks like he's going to do just fine. And that Ancient of War is creeping for the Warden now. Gloves of Haste has dropped there. And the Archmage moving across the map, trying to scout out some things of his own.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
And the Elemental coming along for the ride, and the human player moving through. Looks like he's going to try and go right towards the Night Elf base and just see what's going on. Tome of Strength is on the ground, and a Gloves of Haste. Would have been really nice if that Archmage just came over and stole both of those. Now being forced on out of there by all of the mercenaries and that archer. And here's the Warden. Does not have enough mana to Shadow Strike. And there is free stuff. These footmen spotted the free stuff on the ground. And that Tome of Strength will be the Archmages, and that Gloves of Haste. Very nice.
Upgrade finished.
So free stuff is free stuff.
Your building is
And where is the Warden going next? Perhaps to the Ogre Magi camp to creep. Gonna use both of these Shadow Priests and that Troll Berserker. Troll Berserker has quite high damage for the low point of the game when you can get it. I'm gonna go after this Ogre Magi now, and we'll see what it drops for our Warden, see if it's anything particularly useful. And it's a Circlet of Nobility, always a useful item. And the Archmage is going to creep out the rest of this camp here, just get a little bit additional experience, as all the big stuff is gone from it now, so it should be very easy. Didn't suffer much damage at all. Now almost level 3, and the Warden is indeed level 3. So now the Archmage definitely has to watch out until he gets level 3. Level 2 Shadow Strike does huge damage. and does have almost full mana there, and 150 damage on that Archmage is so much when you only have 550 total health. And the Shadow Priest there dispel that elemental, and a footman will fall there, unable to micro it away, and another footman may fall soon here. Shadow Strike is going to go off, and this footman should definitely fall. Going to give even more experience to that warden. Now 3.5.
Your building is complete.
Very close to level 4. Now picking up some scrolls of regeneration and that lesser clarity potion. And footman, another footman may fall here, but does not have enough mana for a Shadow Strike. So this one will just be very, very low on health. And here we go. Now the warden in the action again, and eating those arcane tower, but unfortunately she has no mana, so it really doesn't do too much anyway, so it's not much of a big deal there. And now the Archmage is in a little bit of trouble trying to get away as fast as possible here. Both have boots of speed. Pretty similar speed there. And that arcane tower doing what it can against this warden. Again, the warden has no mana, so it doesn't do any of that bonus damage. So instead, just taking little bits of damage, and really little bits is what I mean. It only does about 3 damage with her armor. So she can pretty much just eat that all day. Now going after some of the Troll Shadow Priest with it, which is a pretty good idea. Took all of them to no mana, and there goes that elemental. Now warden almost level 4. Meanwhile, the Archmage is still only level 2.5. So this Archmage is just, or the warden rather, is just wrecking house. And this Archmage really just doesn't have any answer for this. Really just needs to go out and avoid this warden for a while and creep. Right now he's just getting destroyed. And teleports to the top side of his base there to get away. And needs to creep up. Needs to be at least level 3 so we can have that level 2 water elemental. At the very least, although dispels from these Troll Shadow Priests will do huge damage to his water elementals, but sooner or later they won't have any mana to really do that in the first place. Like right now they pretty much have nothing. And now a Mountain King is out on the field for the human player. And there goes a Stormbolt, gonna hit that warden, but the blink in time negates that.
Your building is complete.
I'm going after that Dryad. Dryad, about 3/4 health, but should be able to get away no problem. And right now our human player really is just getting pretty much stomped on. And there goes another Stormbolt, but I think that was a little bit too far. And when the Stormbolt is that far away, you really don't have enough time to catch up to do a surround or get any additional damage. And now we have Druids of the Claw for the Night Elf player. Back at the Night Elf player base, we have Druids of the Claw coming out of the Ancient Allure. And 2 Ancient of Lords going at once for the human player, just blasting out Arcane Sanctums. Also has a workshop along the way. And now going after this Druid of the Claw has no more mana to Stormbolt. Used all of his mana to Stormbolt. I don't think he really used it very well. But we'll see what happens later on in the game. He can use some Clarity Potions, just get that back, and maybe just use that a little bit more responsibly. And wait till units are a little bit closer to him before he uses that, because if you use that at max range, then you spend half the stun duration just catching up to your opponent rather than actually doing damage to your opponent. Archmage still not level 3, and Mountain King about halfway to level 2. And now the Warden here, almost a level 5. And if this Warden gets level 5, those 225 damage Shadow Strikes will do such huge damage, particularly to that Archmage. And it would be half that Archmage's health in one shot, not really counting the additional poison damage that follows. Well, actually, it would be about 25 less than its full health. And now he's gained a little bit more. Level 3 Archmage now, and goes after that Warden there. Stormbolt hits, and apparently I can't talk today. Talking is hard. Archmage backs up just a little bit there. Tries to get away from all that damage. Spellbreakers going at it here, and Mountain King now in a little bit of trouble. Mountain King almost level 2. If anything dies, he would be level 2, which would help him out quite a bit. And sooner or later, this Mountain King will fall. Uses a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. And now the Archmage will TP back home. And TPs to his expansion where his arcane vault is, and uses that scroll of regeneration and some clarity potions on his heroes. And again, it looks like another stun was lost there on that warden. Gotta watch stunning that warden. Then she can just blink right out of it. And now the human player looking for something to do, and I would suggest getting all of these creeps that are lying about the map. There's quite a bit of easy ones and some hard ones still. All the hard ones remain. And that's definitely what our human player needs right now, is to be a much higher level. As our Night Elf player has a level 5 Warden, which is so deadly right now to that Archmage. Archmage only has 600 health. The level 3 Shadow Strike does 225 damage.
Your building is complete.
So it's almost half of the Archmage's health, and that does not include the additional poison damage that the Archmage will take. And now a full-out brawl going on. The Druids of the Claw trying to get to the front line here, but backing up a little bit. All kinds of militia now being called in. So many militia. And trying to get up front there to stall the retreat of our Night Elf player. Almost lost one of those bears, but a Staff of Preservation sends that on home. Now the Sorceress will fall here to the Warden. And the bear is very low on health. All of them. This bear will fall. And Warden also very low. A Stormbolt right now would be ideal, but it does not have the mana to do so, and uses a Scroll of Town Portal to get out of there. Now the Night Elf is the one on the run, and the human player should definitely take advantage of this right now and go creep as fast as possible. There's all kinds of creeps just all over the map. So many choices at the moment. The Night Elf player needs to heal up. Not too much. Has quite a bit of Moonwells here. Some of them are full. This one up here full. And the rest of them are about halfway. So has plenty to do so. Now going to use some rejuvenations to heal his army up. And now going after the expansion of the Night Elf player. Going after that Ancient of War first to get that out of the way. And the Wisps exit the Entangled Goldmine and are now going to dispel all over the casters here, leaving them all with no mana. In the TP lands directly on the human player. And so much damage being dished out. And now some Fairy Dragons preventing the casters from casting, because if they do, they get retributed for that. The vengeance of the Fairy Dragon, if you will. And the Mortar team launching all over these bears, mostly trying to get at these Dryads. Doesn't do so much damage to the bears. And now the Warden about half health here, but the Warden uses Avatar of Vengeance, one of the better skills in the game.
Our warriors have engaged.
And the best thing to do about the Avatar of Vengeance is just bail, because it just does so much damage to your army. And looks like the Archmage here may buy a Scroll of Town Portal. No, he bought it on his Mountain King and needs to get out of there. He's losing so much so fast. And that was the right decision to get out of there with that Avatar of Vengeance. Best just to leave it be and let it run out of time, because that's about all you can do. You can kill it, but good luck doing that. With 1,200 health and its ability to just, sort of wander around and away from you. And meanwhile, you're getting hit by all these Spirit of Vengeance. Very, very tough ultimate to deal with. Level 3 Archmage and a level 2 Mountain King versus that one level 6 Warden. And here comes the Avatar of Vengeance now. Doesn't even need the rest of his units. Just going to bring this Avatar of Vengeance and do some damage to the human base. And now all the damage going down on the Avatar. And I'm not sure if I agree with the Avatar getting in there so close. And needs to back out a little bit. Should bring the army with him. As again, the Avatar of Vengeance is pretty hard to kill, but if you just have one Avatar of Vengeance and run it into an army, then it sort of defeats the purpose of being hard to kill. And the expansion going strong here for the human player and for the Night Elf player as well, but the Night Elf was a little bit sooner, or a little bit later, and we got 8,900 gold here and 5,900 gold here, so the human player definitely got to that a lot sooner. And Tome of Strength drop there, and a Claws of Attack +6, which should be going on that Archmage, considering he has that Gloves of Haste as well. That'll also just sort of combine, and that is a good decision with that extra attack speed plus additional attack damage. Just sort of really stacks on each other very, very well. And now the Renegade Wizard will fall here. Boots of Speed drop, and no Boots of Speed. 2 Boots of Speed on the Mountain King. They do not stack. Not sure why he has 2 Boots of Speed. And should take that Ring of Protection off of that Archmage. Again, Ring of Protection, just a very, very poor item. If you, even in like pro players, they never use the Ring of Protection +2. It's better, you're better off just selling it. And instead, he sold his boots, which I absolutely disagree with. You should always have the boots on the Archmage, because if that Warden is coming after you and you don't have boots, goodbye Archmage, that's for sure. So definitely don't want to make that decision. So if you guys have learned anything from this replay, sell your Ring of Protection +2. They're pretty much garbage. Even if you look at the stats there, it's just the amount of reduction that a Ring of Protection +2 gives you is not so good. And now tons of bears here moving in on the human base. Human base has no upgraded fortifications at all, so he's just 0. And so it's just taking so much damage here. Will fall almost instantly and is not repairing. Not sure why he's not repairing there. And there it goes. He let his expansion fall for no reason. Could have been repairing that, at least held it off for a little while. And I think what happened was he had gold in his sacks there. And when you click on the expansion, you don't actually start healing. You just instead drop off the gold that your peasant has, and you actually need to click again. So that's what he did not do. And now the Archmage here in trouble, decides to town portal out of there. And the Night Elf player suffered almost no losses there. Maybe a bear. I think that's a bear there. So that wasn't too good for the human player. And now the Warden moving along here. And Mountain King does have enough for a Stormbolt, but the Warden just a little bit too tricky, blinking all over the place. Now going after those peasants. It does not look good for our human player. And now the human coming back for vengeance here. Takes out a bear, though, at the very least. That was sort of nice. And gives our Archmage the level 4. So should have a level 2 Brilliance Aura now, which will definitely help with the casters, but definitely needs that expansion again. It needs to rebuild that as soon as possible. And if he cannot, he's going to run out of mining potential here very soon. And with a Night Elf with 2 expansions and with, well, mining 2 mines, and a human only mining 1 mine, that is not good at all. And now the Warden coming up to the shop, decides to buy 2 scrolls of healing and a potion of lesser invulnerability. So this Warden is pretty much immune to dying at the moment. And now looks like she is going back over to the expansion here to see if the expansion has been rebuilt. She will see that it is not, and will just take off the other way. Another Arcane Vault is being built here at the main base to heal up all of these troops. Most of them all healed, but perhaps for the mana, indeed, getting some clarity potions there, as the Archmage was pretty low, and Mountain King was fairly low. Uses a potion of invisibility on the Mountain King. And we'll see what he decides to do with this. And I'm not sure if it's really going to get him too much. And looks like he's going towards the Goblin Merchant. We'll see what he decides to do here.
Our gold mine is running low.
And may have seen that the potion of invulnerability was bought out. And now the Warden is up top and does not need to creep at all, as you do not gain experience past level 5 from creeping. So Scroll of the Beast dropped a decently useful item. I'd say in this case it would be a very useful item, but gonna leave his Staff of Preservation down for now, and I think it's gonna be a final push for him. Nope, gonna just sell that Scroll of the Beast and keep his Preservation instead. Again, you really don't need it when you got Roar from bears. Scroll of the Beast certainly is pretty potent. Now going after the human base, this may be the final push, as the human really doesn't have too much to defend. It's got lots of mortar teams, lots of casters, and a few spell breakers, but I just don't think it's going to be enough against all of these bears. He's going to have to play really, really well in order to do this. Now bringing out the militia, but the militia aren't going to be enough, taking way too much damage there. And now the Avatar of Vengeance has been spawned as well. And now the Fairy Dragons blasting all of the casters. And our human player has to back up a little bit. So much damage going down on all of these casters. Casters very, very low. Just have these Fairy Dragons need to be moved up once again. And the bears now just having a field day on all of the buildings here and trying to push forward. It's a little bit of a choke point right now, and the Warden using Fan of Knives, just blasting all of these units here. And now the Archmage very low on health, about half health. And Mountain King about the same, about half health as well. Archmage heals up real quick, and the Mountain King has to back in and out. Mountain King just really can't do anything right now, and it says GG, leaving TeTe the winner of this game. A pretty good game indeed. And I will let you guys check out the scores of the game. So pretty much a complete upset with this Warden, a level 9 Warden versus a level 4 Archmage and a level 3 Mountain King. I think what happened is that the human player just didn't creep enough when he had ample opportunity to do so, particularly the first time he forced his opponent to Town Portal. He really didn't take that opportunity to creep. And if he would have been a bit higher level, perhaps a level 5, at least a level 5 Archmage, a level 5 Mountain King would have been able to deal with this single Warden at least a little bit better. So I think that was his downfall. So he just simply didn't creep enough. But I thought it was a really good game. I hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and I'll see you guys next time.